I'm Nicole Versansky from 19 News. Here are the latest headlines for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026.
First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
We begin with your first alert on the potential for damaging winds and some heavy rain.
Tomorrow is a 19 first alert weather day, but we could see things whip up late tonight. Thanks for joining us. First at 4, I'm Nicole Versansky.
And I'm Brian Duffy. So you know the 19 First Alert Weather Team will be all over this.
Absolutely. 19 First Alert meteorologist Andy Chilian is here to walk us through these storm threats and the timing for us. Andy.
Yeah, we're looking at tonight after midnight and even latest data pushing it later than that. So it may not be until we hit early hours of tomorrow morning that we see all activity coming in from the west. So this activity is going to develop over Illinois, Iowa, Missouri. That's how far west we have to look to determine what happens locally in the next few hours. And that hasn't even formed yet. So we're basically predicting the future without anything to go off of. Of course, that's what happens normally, right? So a couple rounds of storms, though. There's that round tonight through tomorrow morning. And then we have another round possible tomorrow afternoon and evening. That second round, though, depends on how much the atmosphere can recover after the first one. You hear this, us talk about this a lot in spring. If it stays cloudy and rainy through a lot of the day, there's not enough instability in the atmosphere. But if we can get some sunshine tomorrow, then we'll be watching that as well. Main risk overall, damaging wind gusts and heavy rainfall. Can't rule out perhaps a brief spin-up tornado just given the conditions in place, but that's not the main risk, and large hail really not a big risk either. Right now we're warming to 70 in Cleveland, 73 in Sandusky. No lake breeze today. The rest of us in the 60s further south. We've seen a little bit of light shower activity near and over the lake right now, some in Geauga, Ashtabula County. Looks like we've got a couple showers near the islands as well, back over towards Sandusky. And we could see a few more pop-ups when all said and done. But right now, nothing yet going on over this area to watch over parts of the Midwest, so we'll see what happens in the next couple of hours. Either way, locally, we're pretty quiet as we head through midnight, even 1 a.m., with temperatures still remaining very warm with a southerly breeze. I'll track the severe risk coming up. We'll have the latest on some windy conditions the next few days and some major temperature swings ahead, all here in just a bit.
Andy, thank you. And of course, the 19 First Alert Weather Team is tracking all of this. They will be all night and overnight. Our meteorologists will be here overnight. If those storms hit, make sure you download the 19 First Alert Weather app. You will get a push alert whenever the weather is going to impact your area. And tune in to 19 News tomorrow morning. You'll have live team coverage starting at 4:30.
Well, Akron, like most cities, is in a budget crunch. The mayor, city council suggested millions of dollars in cuts to reduce Akron's operating budget. Our Harry Boomer is in Akron. Harry, what do they have in mind down there?
Well, you know, Brian, like you say, Akron, like many other cities, having to look for a dollar any place they can find it. The city has about 2,000 personnel, and it looks like some of them will have to go, and other cuts will have to be made to stay within its proposed 2026 budget. The city of Akron is looking at taking an axe to its annual budget to the tune of nearly $14 million.
We are working to ensure that our operations remain as strong as possible, delivering for our residents, while also being sustainable with the constraints that we have and working within our budget, both now and in the years ahead.
Job cuts and overtime reductions will likely lead the way when it comes to trimming, according to Akron Mayor Shamus Malik.
This budget reduces 35 full-time positions through attrition, which will save the city an estimated $3.5 million over the course of this year.
Even with the cuts, the 2026 proposed budget will be around $785 million. City officials are looking at possibly bringing back speed cameras in school zones to help raise funds. For now, the only sacred cows appear to be police and fire, but they will likely lose some overtime pay. If that happens, it will save a combined $4.5 million.
And that's not to say that we're not going to invest. That's not going to say that we're not going to add positions in places. But it is to say that we have to be as disciplined as possible.
Now, the 2026 Akron budget has to be voted on and approved by March 31st. That gives the mayor and city council about 3 weeks to make the adjustments need to get to their goal of their 2026 proposal. In Akron, I'm Harry Boomer, 19 News.
Harry, thank you. New information now. A Stark County man accused of shoplifting from a Walmart and trying to shoot a police officer changed his plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. So this is all from this incident back in December. Shane Newman, that's him with the gun, allegedly facing attempted murder and other charges. Thankfully, that gun that he pointed and tried to fire at the officer did not go off. Newman will now undergo testing to determine his competency. A report is due in early April.
This is a 19 First Alert breaking traffic alert.
If you're about to be heading out and then heading west on 90 on the west side, your drive could be 25 minutes longer than usual at least. That's because of a crash blocking at least one lane on 90 westbound right around 611. And this is backing up drivers well before now where 90 passes 83, as you can see in this live look. Now, drivers who are already stuck in this bunch up backup are still moving slower than 10 miles per hour. But now this stretch of slowdowns is more like 3.5 to 4 miles, which is essentially double than what it was just a few minutes ago. Speeds right now at best just 9 miles per hour in some places. So you'll be heavy on the brakes here. And like I said, dealing with a delay of at least 25 minutes. But that's not the only crash I've been first alerting you to. I want to bring you back to 71 because we still have this one over by Bagley Road, still blocking at least one lane on the right side. But now we also have rush hour traffic filling up the freeway, mixed in with rubbernecking that's slowing down the southbound lane. So you'll be going just around 20 miles per hour in this entire direction over between where 71 meets the turnpike and 480 with delays between 5 and 10 minutes. But again, we still have first responders still on the right side of 71 north just after Bagley Road where that crash is.
The United States and Iran trade new threats on day 11 of the conflict. President Trump makes contradictory statements on when the war will end. Brian Abel has the latest from Washington.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Tuesday would be the most intense day of strikes inside Iran. And President Trump has threatened to escalate further, saying Iran would be hit 20 times harder if it blocked the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. A senior Iranian official threatened Trump in response, posting that Trump should watch out so as not to get eliminated. And Trump told Fox News he doesn't believe Iran's new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, can live in peace, though it's unclear exactly what he meant. Meanwhile, President Trump Monday told CBS, "I think the war is very complete, pretty much." Just hours later, though, he'd tell Florida Republicans, "We haven't won enough." The comments did little to clarify a timeline or the progress toward America's goals in the conflict. Adding to the confusion, at about the same time Trump was calling the war complete, the Department of Defense posted on X, "We have only just begun to fight." Now, all of this back and forth as the death toll rises to more than 1,200 civilians killed in Iran and more than 450 in Lebanon since the start of the war, according to the UN and a nonprofit organization, while world leaders are becoming increasingly concerned about the growing economic cost with oil prices soaring. In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Governor Mike DeWine's final State of the State. His message is not even that he's not finished working, even though he has just 10 months left in office.
Dan DeRose anchored our digital coverage of the speech to the joint session of the Ohio House. And Dan, the governor is still asking for a little bit here. He wants 2 more laws at least passed.
You know, we'll see what happens. 10 months. A lot of people would call this his lame duck period. Maybe not, doesn't have the power to get things through. But here are 2 laws that he wants to see get passed. The first one is that a primary seatbelt law. You may not know this, but if an officer sees you without wearing a seatbelt, maybe even sees a child bouncing around a car while they're driving, they cannot pull you over just for that. We've seen this with cell phones. There has to be some other reason. You're speeding and they're going to give you a ticket for a seatbelt. The governor wants that changed. He says in other states that have already done this, he thinks in Ohio we could save 5 lives a month if we went to primary so that police could start enforcing that. Next up, He's looking at the use of AI, and he's asking for tougher laws when it comes to not only AI porn, but the companies that allow you to make this kind of stuff. So he wants to make it illegal to possess, create, or distribute AI-generated porn. Also, he wants tech companies liable if a child ever goes out, uses AI, and AI tells them to either harm themselves, kill themselves, or to go out and kill or harm other people. He wants the tech companies held responsible. And then when it comes to parental controls, he wants more and easier controls by the tech companies so parents can control how much screen time, what apps, and how often their kids can use it. He wants it, and he wants it now.
Now's the time to teach our kids to read. Now's the time to get our kids back into the classroom. Now's the time to protect our kids from the harms of too much screen time. Now's the time to commit to the physical and well-being of our kids through more recess and a permanent statewide fitness program. Now's the time. Now's the time to protect all Ohioans with a primary seatbelt law. Now's the time to do these things.
So when it comes to that recess comment, currently they're mandated 2 15-minute recess periods a day. He wants that doubled. He wants there to be 2 half-hour recess periods. Says when kids are outside away from screens, when they're playing with their friends, that does so much more for development than sitting on a tablet all day.
Well, a major boost for affordable housing right here in the city. Millions in new grants will help create nearly 800 homes across the city.
And some of that money is actually going to go to fixing homes that seniors are already living in. Keith Grant now with the story.
Some homes in Cleveland are falling apart. Old roofs, windows, and chipped paint. For seniors on fixed incomes, the repairs needed to stay put are out of reach.
Seniors want to age in place.
Carolyn Dawson with the Famicos Foundation says the homes they live in are beyond a quick fix.
And they still have the same furnaces, the same electrical systems, and they've been patched up, they've been repaired, but now we need to replace.
Those repairs aren't cheap. Dawson estimates $25,000 a project, and it often starts with one culprit.
We're looking at roofs, which is the cause of all evil.
Because a leaky roof can damage walls, floors, everything inside. Representative Chantel Brown says the need couldn't be more urgent.
Because when I speak with constituents, housing comes up all the time, y'all.
A new report details affordable housing shortfalls in Cleveland. To understand the need, consider this. Cleveland is short 54,000 affordable housing units. Today's grant funds 800 of them, including 55 senior units right here. The senior housing will be built by CHN Housing. Famigos wants to keep seniors in the homes they already love.
We like to replace porches because seniors love to sit out on their porches, and we do a lot of interior work as well, replacing furnaces, hot water tanks.
The group handling the grant says builders aren't paid until projects are finished and all costs are audited. In Cleveland, Keith Grant, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
We've been giving you the first alert to this for a couple days now. Still looking at showers and storms tonight through tomorrow, a few which may be severe. The biggest risk severe-wise would be damaging wind gusts. Heavy rain could see some local high water. There's a low but non-zero risk for a cell or two that could produce large hail and perhaps a brief spin-up tornado as well. Although, again, that's going to be on the lower side of the risk. But the fact of the matter is this is occurring during the overnight, early morning hours tomorrow. So if you're usually asleep during that time frame, most of us are, right? You'll want to have a way to get alerts on your phone that can wake you up should a warning be issued. Here's the timing of this, midnight to noon. I know that's a big time frame, but that's when we're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms all moving in from the west. All this activity is starting way back in Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, late this afternoon, and then that will continue a track west or eastward, overnight, and that will be potentially holding together to be severe in our region. Now, that's going to be ongoing for the first part of the day tomorrow, from noon to 8 p.m. So tomorrow afternoon and evening, there's the chance for another round of storms to develop, but whether it does so or not depends on how much the atmosphere is able to recover after this first round. We talk about this a lot in the spring or really during any thunderstorm risk. If you don't have enough of a recovery in the atmosphere, if it's just cloudy and rainy all day and we're expecting severe weather, severe potential is much lower with that because there's not enough instability. After 8 p.m., just some leftover showers. A severe risk will be quieting down. Will be windy, though, and turning sharply colder, with temperatures falling from the 60s to the 30s by Thursday morning. I also want to mention the wind is going to be very gusty tomorrow. Winds could now gust over 40 miles per hour for a time frame tomorrow, as indicated on our latest wind tracker. It's a south to southwest wind initially, and then changing more out of the northwest with that colder air moving in late Wednesday night and into Thursday. So here's a look at the first alert future. We have seen a few pop-up showers, mainly along the lake shore today. There's still the potential for that as we head through this evening. Otherwise, it stays warm with temperatures in the 60s. Overnight tonight, midnight, now trending a bit quieter right at midnight. But notice what's coming in here as we head through early tomorrow morning, so we could see some of these showers and storms moving in from the west. Here's 6 a.m. You'll be joining Jeff in the morning. He'll be tracking all this activity. And you can see by 9 a.m. we have more showers and storms that'll be moving in. Here's that break, though, at 2 o'clock. And if we see this break, then we could very well be seeing some heavier storms move in late tomorrow afternoon into the evening. Here's 6 o'clock tomorrow. And then there's that lingering shower activity afterwards with the sharp drop in temperatures. We're near the freezing mark for Thursday morning. We'll see even a few flakes that can fly. And then as we head into your Thursday afternoon, we will be seeing things staying on the chillier side. Most of us will not get out of the 30s on Thursday. If we do, it'll be 40, 41, 42 degrees. So much, much colder on Thursday. Still blustery Thursday. And then by Friday, we have another system moving in. And speaking of the wind on Friday, this will be our windiest day by far. We could see winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour on Friday with the system that'll bring us a scattered rain and snow mix. Snow would be more the first part of the day with temperatures near freezing, but back to the 50s with just rain Friday afternoon. So first alert 7-day, lots going on here. We go from 69 tomorrow to 39 on Thursday. A significant drop there. Usually when you get drops like that, you have some type of active weather. We're dry on Saturday, but chilly again at 40. Back to the mid 60s on Sunday. Now much of Sunday may be trending dry, but late Sunday night we may see a round of showers and storms giving way to this significantly colder air, and that does include St. Patrick's Day, snow potential, and temperatures that could be below freezing.
Now to your top 4 at 4, we have new information on a Cuyahoga Falls middle schooler accused of bringing a loaded gun to school. The student is charged with several felonies. Today, police tell us the student had a loaded Glock 26 in his waistband and 11 9mm rounds. Extra security is now at the 6th through 12th grade campus. The school went into lockdown Friday morning when another student saw something, said something, saw the gun, told the principal. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Deadly hit and run. This is in Summit County now. A guilty plea in the case. Joseph Zolnowski admitted to not stopping after the accident. He will be sentenced next month. The Parma man was just about to go on trial for hitting and killing 84-year-old Elizabeth Rock. This was in 2024. Rock was leaving her granddaughter's Christmas concert at St. Barnabas Church.
A truck driver had to be flown to the hospital after a crash on the Ohio Turnpike this morning. This was around 9 this morning in Strongsville. We've learned the driver is from Tennessee. Apparently he drove off the road, hit a guardrail, and then flipped. Crews actually had to cut him out of the semi. He was hurt, but he's going to be okay. No other vehicles were involved.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said today will be the most intense day of strikes against Iran. That, after already hitting more than 5,000 targets, Iran is launching new strikes against Gulf neighbors, damaging residential areas. The regime has also threatened to block oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
The Justice Department and Live Nation, that's the company that owns Ticketmaster, they reached a settlement in a major antitrust case.
Could mean lower prices for concert tickets for you. The deal comes after a week of testimony in federal court that threatened to split Live Nation Entertainment and Ticketmaster apart. Instead, the tentative deal will open up more competition. Live Nation would have to pay as much as $280 million to settle claims. They would also have to cap some service fees, open up half of ticket sales to other sellers, and limit exclusive contracts.
I think that Live Nation can view this settlement largely as a win. They avoid the really draconian penalties that were potentially on the table.
Now, even if the judge approves the settlement, a group of more than 24 states say they will not join and will move forward with the lawsuit.
Breaking at this hour, a suspect is dead and a Baltimore police officer is hurt. Police responded to a burglary call that actually turned into a hostage standoff. They were met with gunfire from the suspect in the house. Police then took cover after an officer was shot in the leg. Now, the officer is reportedly okay. However, police say the suspect had a hostage, appeared in the window several times with a gun to that person's head before that suspect was shot by a sniper.
All right, also breaking, Toronto police are investigating after a shooting outside the U.S. consulate in the city's downtown. Now, they are calling it a national security incident. Police said when officers arrived, they found evidence of gunfire, shell casings, and damage to the building. No one was hurt. Streets around the consulate are closed while police investigate. Well, we continue to learn new information about the woman accused of killing her 2 young daughters, then hiding their bodies, burying them partially in suitcases.
So court records obtained by 19 News show other family members are also being investigated in this case. First at 4, Brittany Ware joins us live from the newsroom to break all of this new information down for us. Brittany.
Yes, according to the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court of Common Pleas, all of Aaliyah Henderson's relatives are being investigated by police, including the father of her 3rd child, who was found safe inside her home the day that Henderson was arrested. New court documents show that child is just 6 years old and is now in the care of Children and Family Services. 19 News is not naming the father because he has not been charged, but court records list him as a person of interest in the deaths with a history of domestic violence. Because of that, the 6-year-old has been placed into emergency care. Court records also show the father has not had contact with this child since they were 6 months old. The father denies all allegations of abuse. As the community mourns 10-year-old Amor Wilson and 8-year-old Mila Chapman, many are asking, how did no one know that 2 little girls were missing? The girls were never reported, and their bodies were found last Monday by a man walking his dog in a field near Ginn Academy on Cleveland's east side near East 162nd Street. The cause and manner of deaths have not yet been determined, but 19 News spoke to Cleveland Metropolitan School District, and they confirmed that both girls were enrolled in CMSD between August and November of 2022. On November 4th of 2022, both girls were withdrawn and transferred to Ohio Distance and Electronic Learning Academy, a tuition-free online public school. It's not known who withdrew these girls, but we did reach out to the academy for comment, but have not yet heard back. And Henderson has been charged with aggravated murder and child endangering. She is expected to make her initial appearance at the Justice Center Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Reporting from the newsroom, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
I'm Nicole Versansky. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe for the latest headlines every weekday. Tomorrow is a First Alert Weather Day. Be sure to download the 19 First Alert Weather app for up-to-the-minute forecasts and live radar.